Hey guys, it's Mountain Gold. Today I'm gonna talk about Zpacks Plex Solo Tent and whether it works in an alpine environment or not. As always, let me state that I'm not sponsored by any companies and no one asked me to review any product in my channel. All information is nothing more than my personal opinions or preferences, and what works for me does not necessarily mean to work for you. I'm also doing Instagram, so please follow my Instagram account. If you have not subscribed yet, please smash the subscribe button. Okay. In my hiking career, I've used many kinds of tents, from single wall tent to double wall tent, and in many cases I have used single wall tent because single wall tents are more simple and light. I want hiking system as simple as possible. When I was looking for a new tent, I was looking for light, waterproof, efficient, and yet reliable, and I found this one, Zpacks Plex Solo Tent. This tent is the lightest tent that Zpacks offers. It is darn light. It is just 389 grams on my scale, including the TCF repair tape that originally comes with this tent. There are already many videos about the specs, so I don't get into it in my video. This video focuses on if it works in an alpine environment, harsh environment, such as the northern Alps of Japan. That is, northern Alps of Japan is humid, rains a lot, really windy, and the surface of the campsite is usually hard and rock. So if this tent works in that kind of conditions, you can pitch this tent in pretty much anywhere you hike in, unless it is very severe conditions like Arctic or, desert. First, let me talk about the weight. This is fully enclosed tent that has built-in bag netting and thicker DCF bathtub floor, and it has, roomy vestibule, and including all guide outlines and line locks. It totals just, as I said, 389 grams, and that is insanely light. And I don't think there are, lighter options, alternative options. So I think this is the lightest tent you can get on the market. As I said, the bathtub is made of thicker DCF material, so you don't need ground cloth that many other ultralight tents requires you to use. So you can also reduce the weight for the ground cloth or ground seat or whatever you call it. However, this is non-freestanding tent, so you need trekking pole or any pole to set up this tent. If you use trekking pole, it has to be extended to around 130 centimeters, and also you need longer, thicker stakes to set up the non-freestanding tent in a harsh environment. You need minimal 6 stakes to pitch this tent. If you want to enhance the wind resistance of this tent, you need 8 stakes, and if you need more livability and more stronger, stable tent, you need 10 stakes. The Northern Alps is pretty windy, so I always bring 10 stakes and I stakes out, 10 stakes. So you have to take it consideration that you need these extra weights. But yeah, even if I use double wall tent, I bring trekking pole and 6 or 7 stakes anyway. So yeah, I'm totally fine with the weight penalty. Yeah, for me it's almost nothing. The second thing to talk about is the ease of setup. As I said, I like single wall tents because it is easier to set up. Personally speaking, Zpacks Solo Tent is easier to set up than any other tent I've ever used. It's very easy to set up and quick to set up. But there are some conditions. First, if you want to pitch this tent on the mountain ridge, you need longer stakes that has great holding power. I'm using 8 inches 8 stakes and 6 inches 2 stakes, and yeah, total 10 stakes as I said, including the DCF stake bag. It weighs 126 grams. Yeah, as long as you use very good stakes, I mean the stakes that have great holding power, yeah, it's easy to pitch, and the tent will be very stable even if it's a non-freestanding tent. Of course, if wind is very strong, it's gonna be very hard to set up. But it is one pole shelter, I mean one pole tent, so one pole tent is relatively easier to set up in a strong wind compared with the non-freestanding tent that require 2 poles. The DCF material doesn't absorb water, so even if it's wet, this tent doesn't stretch or sag. Once it's set up perfectly, the shape holds up until the next morning. Of course, you need to practice to set up in your backyard or in the park nearby before you bring it to your hiking. This tent is kind of, learning curve, so you need to get used to it. But yeah, it's very easy to set up. The third topic is adaptability. Well, it is non-freestanding tent, so whether you can pitch it perfectly pretty much depends on the surface condition. I don't think I will bring it to a snowy campsite or a beach. Yeah, in this case, I will need extra long, stakes or, extra gears to set up the tent. If I have to set up a tent in that kind of soft ground, I will simply use other tent, not this tent. Also, if the ground is super duper hard and you can't use the stake, yeah, it's also difficult to set up, of course, because it's non-freestanding tent. So I always check the surface condition of campsite beforehand, before I bring it to my hiking. But you can pitch this tent in most of campsite in the Northern Alps, I think. Unlike a tarp, it is a tent. You can pitch it only one way. But if wind is super strong, you can kind of shorten your trekking pole and pitch it a bit low to enhance the wind resistance in exchange for the limited interior space. The first topic is its weather resistance. To be honest, I've never experienced really harsh weather, I mean the storm or something like that, in this tent yet. So personally, I can't say anything about it. But according to the Zpacks website, the tent can hold up in at least 27.7 meters per hour gust, about 30 meters per hour gust. That's insane. If you pitch it perfectly, it will hold up in a strong wind, of course. Yeah, Zpacks states like that. And I trust the statement. This tent is used by many thru hikers for many years, and the Zpacks tents have proved to protect hikers from the element. If I use 10 stakes and I pitch it nice and taut, it's pretty strong. I can't shake the tent, so it's very stable, like a freestanding tent. So I think, yeah, their wind resistance is pretty good. DCF material is waterproof and all stitches are seam taped, so it is pretty waterproof. And if water leakage happens from the canopy, you can easily patch the DCF tape that originally comes with this tent. So yeah, the ease of repair is also a good point of this tent, or Zpacks tent in general. In addition, as long as the condition meet the warranty, Zpacks will replace the tent, and the bathtub floor rises to 20 centimeters. It is high enough to protect from downpour and splashback. Although this tent will protect you from the elements very well, you have to deal with condensation. DCF does not have air permeability, so even if you just sit inside the tent, the walls get slightly wet. So when I sleep in the tent, I always keep one vestibule flap open to allow the air to come in to reduce the condensation. But still, when I wake up or at night, the wall is very wet because of the condensation. Also, when I wake up, the outside wall of the tent is super wet, like it rained because of the night dew. So in this case, you have to wipe inside and outside of the walls with this kind of water absorbing towel. You will not get wet because of the rain inside the tent, but you will get wet because of the condensation, so you have to take it into consideration. Thanks to the bag net that surround the bathtub floor, condensation goes down to the bag net and it goes out of the tent. So the condensation will not go down and enter your bathtub floor. So I've never experienced wet bathtub floor when I wake up. So that is a good thing, When I use double wall or other single wall tents, I always experienced wet bathtub floor because of the condensation. So this is a good thing. DCF fiber is naturally waterproof, but condensation is something that you have to deal with in exchange for the DCF's bomb-proof waterproofness. The fifth topic is livability. I'm short, I'm 5'5", and from the short person's perspective, this tent is still not roomy enough to do things inside the tent without touching the wet wall. But that's something I expected before the purchase. This is very light and the packing size is very compact compared with other DCF tent. So it is compact and it has very small footprint. In exchange for the pros, I have to bear the limited interior space. That's ultra-light one-person tent, right? If you need more living space, it will be much heavier. In my case, when I hike, I walk before sunrise and I keep walking for about usually more than 12 hours. All I have to do in a tent is just to sleep. So I'm totally fine with I'm not totally fine, but yeah, it can't be helped. I'm okay with the limited livability. But one thing to note is if you are 5'9" or taller than that, and if you use thicker inflatable sleeping pad and lofty quilt or sleeping bag like I do, footbox of your quilt or sleeping bag will touch the wet wall. So you will wake up miserably with wet footbox. In this case, if you are much taller than me, you should get Altaplex, not Plex Solo. Yeah, no brainer. It is not designed for taller people. This tent is basically for smaller people. If you are somewhere between, smaller people and taller people, you should get Altaplex. I can say it's definitely for smaller people like me. The last thing to discuss is its value. Well, it is $599 and it is not cheap in any way. Yeah. But if you think $599 is expensive, yes, it's expensive, but if you think this tent in particular is expensive, you should check other tents from other manufacturers. Then you will notice that other tents are also expensive. For example, in Japan, tents usually cost you like $600. Manufacturers in Europe, it will cost you more than $600. Yeah, so tents are expensive. It is expensive, but this tent in particular is not expensive. I mean, it is expensive, but it's not super expensive compared with other tents from other outdoor famous popular brands. You should check other tents, and if you still think this tent is a good price, I mean understandable price, then you should get it. There are many options, so you don't have to get it. But for me, I need this one, so I bought it, and no regret at all. This tent is made of DCF, and as you know, DCF is expensive material, and this tent is made in the US. This tent is made by American people, so I think $599 is understandable. Yeah, it's still expensive, but it's understandable. At the same time, however, it doesn't come with trekking pole or tent stakes, so you have to buy them. Of course, if you have a tent or if you are a hiker, I think you already have trekking pole or stakes, but yeah, these are not included. And also, if you living outside the US, you have to pay international shipping fee and custom duty, so it's gonna be much more expensive. As for me, outdoor activity is a part of my life, so I think I can get the return for the investment. If you often do overnight hiking, you will get your money's worth. That's my opinion. In conclusion, who should get the tent? If you are taller than 5'9", and if you use inflatable thick sleeping pad and high loft sleeping bag, it's not for you. Also, if you think condensation is pure evil and you don't wanna deal with condensation in any way, well, it's not for you. If you want an ultralight tent that is durable, waterproof, easy to set up, and trustable tent, and if your height is somewhere around 5'7", it's gonna be a good choice. As for me, its weight, simplicity, durability, and waterproofness, easy to set up, of course. All of the benefits outweigh the drawbacks of this tent, such as limited interior space, condensation, and price. Will I buy this tent again if it breaks? I will do that. I'm looking forward to make more great memories with this tent. That's all for today. Thank you for watching this video. As I said, everything I talked about in this video is nothing more than my personal opinions or preferences. This tent works for me, but it doesn't mean to work for you. If this video contributes to your decision making to get a new tent. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Please smash the subscribe button. It really encourages me to make more videos, and it really supports this channel. I'm also doing Instagram, so please follow me. Okay, see you outside. Bye.